The Victorian era of British history was the period of Queen Victoria from the 20th of June 1837 until her death on January 22, 1901. It was a long period of both peace, prosperity, and national self-confidence for Britain. Within the fields of social history and literature, Victorianism refers to the study of late Victorian attitudes and culture with a focus on the highly moralistic, straight-laced language and behavior of Victorian morality. I have chosen this picture of a school class from the Victorian era. It was a rough time being a child during the Victorian era, and being a child at that time was nothing like childhood is in today's world. During the Victorian age, children should be seen and not heard. They were not allowed to speak at the table unless they were asked. Victorians had a book called Educational Book. It gave examples of punishment for children. It could be things like hanging them on a meat hook or something like that. For the poor Victorian children, life was hard. The poor children had to work public jobs for their families to survive. Toys were nothing more than homemade dolls or wooden blocks. On the other hand, their family life was more loving and with more contact. They were usually tightly bonded, living in such small quarters, sharing everything and being unable to afford any hired help to raise the children. The lower class children did not enjoy the expensive toys, the attention of the nursemaid, nor the comfort of a wholesome diet. The wealthy children may have been spoiled and had much better lives than the poor children, but they also had what would seem to be a sad and affectionless existence. Day-to-day living was nothing more than a monotonous routine and very formal, and it could be quite lonely at certain times. For the wealthy, there was an overwhelming prodding to be proper and polite. They had lives which were very protective, very suffocating. They were unable to show any emotions to the people responsible for bringing them into this world. They were always to act prim and proper and to speak only when spoken to, and they rarely communicated with their parents except for a special time each day. Parents would hire a nanny or a nurse to take care of their children. They would instruct the nanny what they wanted to instill into their children, such as manners, education, property, how to dress, and so on. The nanny was in effect a substitute parent. Nannies were usually older women that have been married. Many times nannies were intolerant and very strict, and sometimes plain mean. This is a picture of a typical nanny. It was quite important to select a conscientious, attentive type of nurse, given she will raise the children until the latter years in which they will be reared by the school. Therefore, parents screened them before hiring them. Mothers and fathers were seen as special glamorous guests due to the fact that they were never around and rarely seen by their children. This was because child and parent led totally separated existence. Children were a convenience to their parents. They obeyed them as they would an army officer.